What up, everybody? Good day today. Positive energy, activate constant elevation. The God's Bill. Much love to the nation. Peace to the gods and goddesses. It's a beautiful thing being prioritized and organized, being in our right mind. You know what I'm saying? And staying uplifted, structured around positivity. As mature adults, that's psychologically in tune and spiritually in tune, being strong minded in our right minds, knowing there's a time for everything. There's a time to lay back, sit back, look, listen, and observe. And there's a time to make knowledge born. You know what I'm saying? Through the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that we acquire, utilizing the knowledge that we have, in terms of knowledge being the foundation of all things in existence, which is a science in itself that enable us to see through certain lenses, through the higher selves of ourselves, that connect with the proper tones, frequencies, and vibrations that the Most High intend for us to aspire to be on, in terms of a channel to where we walking on a certain path that enable us to spiritually win in this era of time that we living in, to where it's important for us as black people in particular to be competent in our thinking abilities, to where we transform our situation to meet the needs that is of a natural instinct, you know what I'm saying? For us to be encouraging and doing certain works to see us survive, thrive, and make it beyond our own individual freedoms, to just be ourselves. Because in this bigger picture, as far as us being fruitful and multiplying, right, you can see all kind of hoaxes at play to try to interfere with our organizational methods to get to the next level in terms of nation building. Now, mind you, right, here it is. You have controversial topics and issues where it seems like people just don't get it. But yet, there's a lot of us who get it. There's a lot of us who can see through the smoke and mirrors that is out here being projected by certain mind magicians who utilize words to create a certain reality, to have a lot of us in subjection to that reality that is perpetrated by these particular entities, right? That's considered bullies, parasites, vampires, energy vampires, economic rigged up system creators who don't play fair when it comes to dealing in equality of the people. Now, I want to go in this particular direction with this particular line of reasoning, right? About how you have certain so-called intelligence investigators, right? Who try to look for the faults in us in order to cause us to end up being spiritually empty or psychologically empty or empty of our soul content that is of a certain non-ether frequency that enable us to be in tune with the realm of the Etherians regarding the light beings, the etheric beings that we tied to regarding multi-dimensional realities connected with beings of different planets, connected with extraterrestrial beings of different density levels, connected with certain ancestors and bloodlines that is alive and well today that enable us to tap into certain dormant super melanite people of the sun capabilities, right? That cause us to end up being the envy of the world, because when you look at it and when you really sit down and think about it, right, we are indeed the gods of this planet. But you have other certain philosophers or historians or paleontologists or certain so-called scholars and teachers, political figures, religious figures. They seem to be running away from this certain ring of truth, right, that has a certain logic to it, that put the mind in proper sequence, that they're not responsible for utilizing to help inculcate in our minds a certain liberation theology that do just that, put our minds in a certain sequence and order where we find ourselves operating through a certain intellectual order and operation pattern of behavior that puts us in a position of advantages when we sucker free from the technology of the devil and the devil civilization. Look at it for what it's really worth, because our souls, right, are not for sale. But yet, you have individuals who have failed hook, line, and sinker for certain materialistic false promises appearing to be real, to where they are empty inside. Soulless individuals who have thought so little of themselves to where they found themselves making certain decisions, being influenced by negative influences that cause them to make unwise judgments against themselves, to the point where members of their body, in terms of their hands and their mind, according to certain divine information, their hands is going to bear witness against themselves. Their feet is going to bear witness against themselves. Their hearts is even going to bear witness against themselves. Their conscience, which has been seared with a disease, is going to cause them to be bearing witness against themselves, to the point where find themselves being counted amongst the spiritually dead. This is serious realities that we dealing with regarding this war of good and evil. You know what I'm saying? What we have, it appears like this particular term, rogue government. You know what I'm saying? We have certain government operations, like with the MAGA movement, where they doing what they want to do, where they conspicuously showing the depravity of their minds, how they are going against the grain of their brains by constantly lying to the American people and the international community regarding certain things that they doing for them to meet certain selfish objectives that they is hungry for, in terms of them being certain circles who is only thinking about themselves and not caring for the rest of the American population made up of the people. So where do we go from here? We have another midterms coming up. Oh, most definitely that blue wave coming. But in that blue wave that's coming, the people who a lot of voters is looking forward to have something tangible that they can benefit from by voting certain other people in the halls of power, right? To represent us and our needs. Hopefully, we will get our reparations coming up this next election as a tangible, you know what I'm saying? Regarding reparations that's been due, which is of primary importance for us to be economically redeemed. So, for instance, we got constant liars, deceivers, falsified school intelligence that is put out here on purpose as psyops, psychological operations, in addition with other projects to trigger confusion in the minds of the people who is off guard, who hasn't been guarding their mind against the falsehood. Now, for instance, right, in the Bible, in the Holy Quran, and in other spiritual reading material that is a friend of me and you. But yet, we have diabolical entities who have put their poisonous hands on certain reading material to tamper with it for it to end up being misinterpreted. So, by it end up being misinterpreted by the people, right? People get ensnared by the falsehood in the tampered with teachings. So when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, right? And the Muhammad speaks and in the final call regarding what Muslims believe and what Muslims want. We can't deny that the Black Holocaust was a hell of a cost that we was victimized by colonizers who was perpetrators who used brute force through the hells of slavery that impoverished the minds of our people mentally, spiritually, and physically regarding destroying our folkways to a degree our norms to a degree and customs to a degree. So in terms of us getting back to developing our minds with knowledge itself, right? That certain messengers came to awaken us to and get us to open our eyes that has been made blind, where our ears have been made deaf, and where our tongues has been made dumb, where we lack the ability to speak. From hearing a word of truth and seeing a word of truth that was designed to break those psychological chains of slavery off of our minds, right? For us to be resurrected mentally in ways where we become mentally alive, being back in tune with our true spiritual sciences. Now, say for instance, right? Say when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote the message to the black man, he was also talking about the message to the black woman. Go for the black woman too, regarding her being through whom we produce our nation, right? Think about this. We are a powerful people. People be jealous of us. We have certain energy signatures about us that other people don't have. So in terms of us not being ashamed of the reality that we are a nation of gods who think highly of ourselves. See, what's wrong with a lot of us, right? We've been mentally brainwashed to think little of ourselves and to think white is right, yellow is mellow. If you brown, stick around, but if you black, get back, way back. Which is a psychological tool that was used to instigate in us an inferiority complex. And ain't nothing inferior about us. See, the real reality is the perpetrators of them atrocities toward us is really the insecure, inferior feeling people who, through certain wicked intentions, show and prove their actions that the whole world know about. Say for instance, right? Why is it that, like when the master teacher, for instance, when he wrote the book, are there black devils? Yes, there are black devils. You know what I'm saying? Just like when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was being specific about the hate produced, right? Regarding the hate that hate produced, regarding like how a lot of us black people in return hate white people for the hate that they perpetrated against us through all of the Jim Crow laws, the slavery, the economic rigged up system, you know, the Justice Department that didn't have justice in mind for our people when it was justice just for them. And those harsh conditions in reality in a country that's supposed to be our home, to where they talking about the American dream. Well, a lot of our people experience the American nightmare. So when you have the Trump administration want to try to get rid of our history, right? Why? because when we look at the relationships between us and white people, we see the struggles that we went through up until this point here, to where, in terms of the struggle still continuing though, right? We still see the carnage of the past. We see the ashes of past civilizations that this current government is built on top of, to where the descendants of the people that they committed acts of injustice against is still dealing with the bigotry to this very day. And it's disguised like, oh, that was back there. It ain't like that no more. You know what I'm saying? But it's in different ways, psychologically, spiritually, educationally, socially. You know what I'm saying? And most definitely psychologically. But yet, this is an era of time for good people to come together. That's why you do have, you know, white people, Asian people, people of different nationalities. You know what I'm saying? He is waking up to the truth where they see through the deception of the arch deceiver of God's people. You know what I'm saying? So for instance, right, when I was talking about the message to the black man, when I got access to the book and read it for the first time in my life, I was so touched and like, wow, this is beautiful. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad is beautiful. But you have people who slander a good man's name out of a strategy to discredit someone that is trying to unite us to rise to power, where we pool our resources and live for, of, and by one another like other races do, in terms of using our gifts and talents to benefit our nation. But we do business with other nations like other nations do business with other nations, utilizing their gifts and talents to benefit their people. In addition, with being good human beings toward their fellow man as a whole. But we see foul attitudes though in others when it comes to like the imbalance in business, racism in Islam, racism in Christianity, dealing with the social strata of society, so-called, like they say, whites at the top, blacks at the bottom, or these so-called changing times where it's about the rich and the poor, you know, where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, certain future and certain outcomes of people, you know what I'm saying, trying to come out of poverty. It's other forces trying to keep certain people in poverty, where they trying to hog everything up for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the war of the sex, what you call the battle of the sexes. Men competing with women, women competing with men. And it's such a lot of conversations going on where women is desperate to be with men, because a lot of men walking away from these modern women because financially that he laboriously accessed from his time and energy to generate certain income for himself just to be involved with a gold digging woman that don't appreciate him for who he is as a working class or entrepreneur individual in a competitive white supremacy environment. You know what I'm saying? Just, trying to do our best, which is not good enough at all. It seems like it's always something where they complaining about this, that, and the third, about us not measuring up to their unrealistic expectation, when in all actuality, the mind of a lot of these modern women out here is subjected to the influences of the image of the beast anyway. There's so much chaos and confusion going on out here. But wait, it gets deeper. Check this out, right? Say for instance, instead of us adding on to our knowledge in the most positive form, right? To where we develop an understanding where we have a clear comprehension of reality regarding knowledge that would elevate our intellect and also elevate the people around us. Like for instance, the nature of this video I'm doing right here is really for the elevation of those who see it, to where your mind become expanded, where you freeing the dome, freeing the dome where there's no restrictions of the mind. But yet we know, you know what I'm saying, that we have a certain moral compass to where the Holy Spirit within, that clean spirit within, that self-accusing spirit within, that voice within, that voice of God within, right? That enable us to make the proper judgment that's in tune with peace. I had seen something, right? I'm here to talk to y'all, you know what I'm saying? Because it's too much foolishness going on to where us as spiritual beings, we can't forget the purity in which we was created in, yo. You know what I'm saying? We gotta really develop our brain power and become mentalists again, like the master teacher was saying. That is a imperative. Say for instance, we got a lot of stuff to do as a nation of people, especially when it comes to black power. Like, remember, Dr. Amos Wilson, right? He say every black household should have this book that I'm compiling. It's a thick book, and you may, need a dictionary to break certain words down, right? You know what I'm saying? To break certain words down, right? But it's required. You know what I'm saying? As grown adult people, we have to open our minds to higher levels of information and thinking, to where we have an expanded consciousness. You know what I'm saying? As grown adults. Now, for instance, right, this is a moral, political, and economic imperative for us to study, so we can mobilize with a step-by-step process, right, to be the as people that we really are. You know what I'm saying? That where the world will see us in a new light beyond the niggerism that is promoted as far as the bickering and the fighting one another for petty bullshit. You know what I'm saying? That cause people to laugh at as they form of entertainment. You know what I'm saying? But for the sake of this channel right now, right? You listening to me. You know what I'm saying? For a good reason, because this is about transformation to higher planes of consciousness. And it also is an approach that I have, right? To communicate, you know what I'm saying, in a way that is opposite of the communication breakdown. This get deep. Certain forces, them 60th forces, do want a lot of our people, right, to be in lack when it comes to being spiritually wealthy. But we can't fall for the okie doke. Look, we representing the best parts of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? With good reputations. Beyond the chaos and confusion. You know, like say for instance in the social media. We see all kind of wars and rumors of wars where these wars is widening. Wars over here. You know what I'm saying? So-called ceasefire, peace talks, and peace agreements. Only to hear about somebody made a peace agreement over here where they blowing up stuff, shooting missiles over here. There ain't no peace agreement being reached in the first place. Constant deception over resources that the Most High blessed the planet with for us all to benefit from, to where you have these greedy people who got these intentions to do what they do. You know what I'm saying? But yet, the laws of karma, we gotta stay out the karmas of the world. You know what I'm saying? People reap what they sow, which is real. Even you entities out here, that's a part of a certain group thing. You know what I'm saying? On that same frequency, doing unclean things. You know what I'm saying? Going against the grain of y'all brains that make y'all ugly people. The ugliest people on the planet doing ugly things, and you expose and we see you. You know what I'm saying? Like say for instance, right? Let's put our thinking caps on and see the games that these people play. Say for instance, a lot of us, we ascribe to teachings of revolutionaries of the mind who came to give us information so we can better our life with, right? But yet, you have forces that want to block light from entering our minds. Now, why do you want to block that light? Because an educated person can't be enslaved. An educated person is not fit to be a slave, baby. Now watch this. in the final call when they say, okay, what the Muslims want. In other words, what black people want. This is speaking about the message to the black man. This is going for our people, the diaspora, wherever we find ourselves with this in time message, in season message, wherever we are all over the planet, right? Because colonialism was a global, let me see, the colonialism, right, was like a global colonialism with its global octopus tentacles, you know what I'm saying, that affected so many land masses all over the globe on a parasitic level, has done what it has done and still doing what its nature was intended to do, to divide and conquer and exploit. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to, like, say for instance, certain black nations fighting for their independence, it's only right for them to get up out from under the iron hand oppression of the oppressors and wrongdoers. That's not natural to be oppressed. It's natural to be free. We are freedom loving people. Why do you think we fight as freedom fighters? You know what I'm saying? We are freedom loving people. But woe to you dummies who sell yourselves out against the remedies to heal you and your people. You know you some sick motherfuckers, you. You know what I'm saying? You is a very sick people who is so out your mind, you is possessed by real unclean, hateful spirits. You know what I'm saying? Causing y'all to be counted amongst those particular spirits who are unclean, hateful birds. You know what I'm saying? It don't make no sense, man. You know what I'm saying? As far as like keeping in remembrance, the struggle continues, and as far as like our history will never be erased, because y'all people, you know what I'm saying, in particular like you, petty white racist people, right? The history, you know what I'm saying, it's something for y'all to, it's something to hold up in y'all faces, like a mirror. Look at yourselves. You know what I'm saying? Look at yourselves. Or is it that a lot of y'all, when y'all look yourselves in the mirror, you don't see no you don't see no reflection? You know what I'm saying? Because Dracula has no soul. You know what I'm saying? Because people with soul have morals. People with no soul, they totally disobedient toward the natural nature of godly order, godly, orderly governance of righteousness through righteous intentions. You know what I'm saying? So, for righteousness' name's sake, right? Remember the Messiah of the scriptures was like, people gonna hate you for my name's sake. What the hell is wrong with you people hating on somebody that's doing good for them? There we go again. qualities. Ain't nothing cool about being spitefully wicked. You know what I'm saying? Not at all. You know what I'm saying? Say for instance, the earth need healing. The master teacher brought us the science of healing. And you got forces who think they know about us, who are embracing our true spiritual sciences, right? To better our lives beyond all this oppression and forces trying to get us to be suppressed and held back, trying to keep us down, when we are rising beyond the dismal crypts of darkness and wickedness. It's destined for us to rise and be the gods and goddesses, rulers, kings, queens that we supposed to be. So this is the time. You know what I'm saying? We have to be God. We have to become gods. This is an era of time for us to be God. We in the image and likeness of our Creator. Not no fake, false gods. And most definitely, we not interested in wasting our time worshiping false idols, being idol worshipers in ways that don't help us. But yet, some of you silly ones out there, you know what I'm saying? Y'all get rewarded for y'all sick stupidity and foolish behavior. You know what I'm saying? Doing things that's against yourselves. It's unbelievable. Y'all better get real out here. You know what I'm saying? Because in opposite of y'all getting real out here, a lot of y'all being real fake as hell out here. Y'all think this a game, don't y'all? Look, the psychological warfare that we dealing with regarding the battlefield of the mind. You know what I'm saying? With these particular forces that you don't see, but yet they silent weapons for quiet wars. You know what I'm saying? That when you put them they live glasses on, you'll be able to see through the silent weapons of quiet wars. And these particular people who truly are reptilian in nature, ugly human beings, pretty women out here disguised as being beautiful, but they are ugly people beneath the surface of that beauty, which is something y'all can't be letting deceive y'all. A virtuous woman who can find. They talk about the Jezebels. Ain't no reason in the world for a lot of us good brothers, even sisters, to be out here not having a good woman or a good man in our life where we represent this knowledge of self-frequency without being interfered with by organizations, you know what I'm saying, that look at you in a way as if, as an individual, you don't have a man in your home, but as an individual, we do have mans of our own. Like I was saying in a message to the black man that reached out to me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you know what? That was illuminating information for my mind to be brightened with eye-opening information, right? For me to see the beauty in myself and in my people. You know what I'm saying? But due to a lot of our people, right, being under the influence of the devil civilization, we see ourselves as being ugly, unwanted, undesirable, unloved, the despised, the rejected, to this very day, due to the Willie Lynch chip being downloaded into the psyche of a lot of our people's heads, right? The Willie Lynch chip have a lot of our people with the dualistic consciousness. What I mean by the dualistic consciousness, the divided lifestyle outside of the unity. You know what I'm saying? The God's bill. Each and every day. Now watch this, right? Okay, that particular dualistic mindset in terms of the lack of unity. But yet, we have a unity consciousness though. You know what I'm saying? To where we organize as one. Which is a greater idea. You know what I'm saying? So you have these particular it's sad, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how long do we have to go through this? A lifetime? Because it seems like every day, day by day, is some kind of bullshit that we have to get around when all we want to do is just live. You know what I'm saying? All we want to do is just live, man. You know what I'm saying? But you have some kind of oppositional forces. You want to throw salt in your game. People act funny as hell out here. Envious of one another. Jealous of one another. Don't want to cooperate. All they do is play and hate. You know what I'm saying? Instead of trying to make things easier, you know what I'm saying? They make things difficult and hard. You know what I'm saying? Life don't have to be hard. We can make it easy. You know what I'm saying? But that's not wishful thinking. It's actual fact reality that we can experience, you know what I'm saying, the goodness of peace through the cooperation. But it seemed like when I was looking at this particular information that in order to achieve peace, it's a formula. And that formula is this. From my overstanding, right? We got freedom, justice, and equality, which brings peace. That's what brings it. The fair treatment, equality, everybody having something. We have freedom to do what's lawful without hurting the next person. And justice being served, you know what I'm saying, for those who commit crimes against humanity. So, by the math not adding up with real freedom, justice, and equality, it's not gonna bring peace. It's always gonna be fucking things at war, everything, or things at war with one another. You know what I'm saying? So, in knowing that, study your lessons. You know what I'm saying? And value intelligence. Don't be a dim-witted individual. Value intelligence. Because that is wise. They just gotta stay away from the negative influences and connect, you know what I'm saying, with the elders, you know what I'm saying, in ways to where they can be rightly guided, you know what I'm saying, where they can stand on their own 2 feet like real adults, you know what I'm saying, real men and women, you know what I'm saying, living right without being a negative statistic to the bitch culture, without being a negative statistic to the whole culture, without being a negative statistic to the prison industrial complex, without being a negative statistic to the streets. You know what I'm saying? Men and women properly educated develop the highest bond together through love. You know what I'm saying? Love is the highest form of positive energy. And the highest form of nature is the cooperation of all living things. So, who's the source or cause of all the disturbances? The author of confusion, who come to kill, steal, and destroy your peace. Maniac devils in action. You know what I'm saying? Who ain't got nothing better to do. So if something created in the nature, it was created in to do, that is what it is going to do. You know what I'm saying? So as far as how smart the technology of these particular demonic forces and devils, you know what I'm saying? It's to be yourself, baby. Accept your own and be yourself. You know what I'm saying? That in itself would enable you to kill devils out of your life. Kill the negativity out of your life. See, we don't condone violence, but we believe in self-defense. 1,000,000%. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't no cowards about us, you know, being in our right mind through knowledge of self. We have a fighting spirit to protect ours, to protect our life, to protect ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And we entitled to that. And we stand up for that. That is a worthwhile cause. That is a law of nature to defend ourselves and protect ourselves from threats, from futile threats. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about this, right? You know, I notice this. Where it's like, oh, you know, I'm just trying to have an intelligent conversation with this particular, you know, woman or man. You know what I'm saying? Or this person. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to spit game, so to speak. Not game consciousness, but you know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? Speaking of language, oh, he got some game about himself in terms of being hip, like hip hop, being hip, representing high infinite power, healing our people, free from the corruption of the mind. Watch this. Now let's put our thinking caps on, right? And see the deceptive intelligence of certain forces that want to try to steal our light, but they can't. They try to steal our light, y'all, but they can't because they don't have our DNA makeup. You can never be us. You can only be who you are. You know what I'm saying? We 9 ether beings, whole light beings. You know what I'm saying? With light bodies. bodies, connected to spiritual realities that's beyond a lot of y'all comprehension. But we don't talk about certain stuff too much because it's not that we're being secretive. You just can't cast your jewels among swine out here. It's real people on this planet, you know what I'm saying, who are in reality whole light beings. What fools these mortals be? Try to get us to not think highly of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We whole light beings, man. Now, you got these people who want to so-called, oh, I know y'all heard about what happened to the Southern Law Poverty Center, the Southern, the Southern Poverty Law Center, you know what I'm saying, who was vilifying the master teacher and the organization in the nation as a hate group. When they was funding hate groups all along, being the real haters, they got indicted the other day. Oh, this calls for a celebration. See, righteousness builds a nation up. Wickedness tears it down. Now, see how they done took that fall. Praying on the downfall of the chosen ones get you caught up. These people just don't understand. Touch not my anointings. You know what I'm saying? So, the evil plot that they intended for somebody else, they end up being a victim of their own wicked machinations, wicked imagination. They fell into it. It fell into a ditch that they made for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And fell victim to their own booby traps. And inflicted that pain on their own selves. Now they in a world of hurt. You know what I'm saying? But it's going to show you, right? For instance, let's do the science of how people think. It goes to show you how people don't be paying attention to what time it really is, right? Okay, let's go here. Okay, you got this so-called website or whatever, call themselves asking 360 questions to ask new Wapians, right? What fools these mortals be, man? Only fools duck when the truth is thrown at y'all. We finna have some fun with this one. You know what I'm saying? We finna have some fun with this one. Ain't nothing gonna get in the way of this message. I don't care. Check this out, right? New Wapianism. 360 questions to ask the new Wapians. This one up, right? It's going to show you how people don't be understanding things. When the master teacher brought what he brought, right? Regarding the opening of the seventh seal, right? The double resurrection. You know what I'm saying? Regarding the teachings that are under Elijah Muhammad. And then when Elijah Muhammad was made note about women. He spoke about the lamb. Look for a particular brother who will expose us to pure, pristine truth, right? In its pristine purity, right? That particular person, whether people accept it or not, turn out to be Panabab Yalom, Dr. Malachi York. And watch what people start doing, right? laugh from. Now check this out, right? Now they try to charge him with plagiarism, right? But he told y'all in advance, right? That don't believe me. Check it out, right? Don't believe me. Check it out. So, as far as you doing your own research, you will have an educated mind from certain scholarship of your own research. There's nothing new under the sun. Everybody has been taught certain things that cause their thinking to be a product of what was already here. So that's not plagiarism. Ain't nothing new under the sun. We all borrowing from certain previous knowledge that was here before we came in contact with the information. So when you research, you find out, oh, what he was saying is real. It makes sense. It reason out here. That ain't plagiarism, but y'all trying to make it seem like Dr. Malachi Z. York work was taken from the works of other writers and claiming them to be his. That's not what he was doing. Certain information that he brought for us to take into consideration was to break the spell off of our minds, to be free from the enemy of the mind, which is ignorance. Now watch this, right? He also had a strategy to get our attention, to take us to a higher level beyond the teachings of previous individuals who came with certain scholarly works and schools of thought that was through natural nature divinely called for to give birth to a situation for us to become a liberated people through certain messengers and leaders, prophets and apostles and sages, to appeal to the higher consciousness of us as a people, to take us out of the darkness of the brainwashing. Now watch this. Okay. What was that? Malachi, the book of Malachi in the Bible 4:5. Let me see. It was speaking about, I will send you Elijah. Now to us, that Elijah is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who came to snatch the covers, you know what I'm saying, off of the reality of us being gods and white people who was perpetrating certain crimes against humanity as devils. And they admit that through the actions and deeds, some acts as devils. You know what I'm saying? And not to mention, where, like the master teacher said, there's more black devils than white devils. Why did he say that? This is one of the reasons why you have people who look like us, they ain't us. You know what I'm saying? They are pretenders, interlopers, infiltrators, liars, backstabbers, deceivers, sellouts. It's sad, man. It's sad. So when you guys say, for instance, real people, right? Real people, right? Who identify with these life-saving teachings, right? Like, say for instance, conversation in this area of thought right now about the plagiarism. This is what they trying to take credit. They trying to discredit the master teacher for his pedagogy. The word pedagogy means his teaching style. Boom. Now watch this. Like I just said, what he did, right? He had a clever method of getting our attention. Who was in the Moorish Science Temple of America, who was in the Nation of Islam, and other black organizations, right? He came to get our attention with those teachings and interpreted those teachings in a whole nother way, right? Not to take nothing away from they lifestyle and those teachings, but to appeal to our intelligence in order for us to consider looking into a whole nother higher level of consciousness in addition to those teachings, by him making terms like dealing with the supreme mathematics, naming certain books in here supreme mathematics. Okay, the Nation of Islam taught us supreme mathematics. So by him being who he is based on his works, we can see that he fit the description of the individual Elijah Muhammad was talking about, that there would be one to come with a certain truth and to follow him, which turned out to be the master teacher, Pata Bab Yanun, right? To lead us into higher consciousness, a new higher level of information, which is a living word that's not dead, that's constantly changing and evolving with natural nature and not devolving like a lot of these what appear to be niggerized individuals who are stuck in a negative frequency in a nigger culture of negativity that caused them to be despised and rejected. But due to us knowing who we are, we don't despise and reject our people. They just need to be re-educated into knowledge, proper knowledge of self, and transform their mind and behavior, being in tune with the best civilized society. Now watch this, right? These particular, now you know the master teacher wrote plenty of books where in his style of communication where he say, okay, these are 360 questions to ask the Orthodox and Muslims, or these are 360 questions to ask the Christians, or these are 360 questions to ask the Hebrew Israelites, etc. Now, from certain ideas of him asking these questions, these particular challengers of the teachings, right, they want to try to charge him with plagiarism. Like I said, they came up with this term, okay, we're going to flip it on him and ask him 360 questions to ask the new Nuwabians. Now watch this. Okay, now, just say this, right? Ask the new Nuwabians, did you know the book, The Sacred Wisdom of Tahuti, was plagiarized from the mystical book called The Kabbalion? Better yet, ask the Nuwabians, whatever happened to the Sumerian Bible and the Sumerian Torah that York failed to release? Say for instance, if he wanted to come out with a book, right, right, withheld the time to publicize it, you know what I'm saying? At his own power and discretion. Ask the Nuwapians is Dr. James J. Hurtick, one of the masters who guides Malachi York's pen. You know what I'm saying? Ask the Nuwapians are the four friends, Dean Hardy, Mary Hardy, Marjorie Killick, and Kenneth Killick, some of the masters who guide York's pen. Ask Dr. York, did you know Malachi? Ask the Nuwapians, did you know Malachi York plagiarized parts from the movie and book Chariots of the Gods? Let's see, so question. Ask the Nuwapians, did you know the book, The Sacred Wisdom of the Hoodoo, was plagiarized from the mystical book called the Kabbalion? Now hold on. This one here, where they was talking about the plagiarism of the Nation of Islam teachings and the teachings of the 5% Nation, and the breakdown of that. Let me find this. Hold on. Here we go. Here I found it. Okay. They say, ask the Nuwapians, did you know Malachi York plagiarized the supreme mathematics and actual facts names from the Nation of Islam and 5%ers? Now, this goes to show you how silly our people can be, right? Now, we know the book, the Nation of Gods and Earths, or the 5% Nation, right, is derived their teachings from the original teachings of the Nation of Islam. With all due respect to Clans 13X, right? Now watch this. The message to the black man is a message to me and you, right, my brother and sisters. This is a book to get our attention, for us to think about certain things with a certain clarity of mind, to be in tune with a certain mindset that's free from a negative slave mind, right? Now, all of these teachings is for the upliftment of us. Now watch this. Question. Hold on. Alright now. Watch this, right? Question. Ask the Nuwapians, did you know Malachi York plagiarized the supreme mathematics and actual facts names for the Nation of Islam and 5% of teachings? Answer. The Neo-Nuwapians would be in complete denial, but older cult members should remember. Now, see how the devil be in the details of certain information, where they use slick words to try to discredit the good intentions of an individual who came to bring us a superior teaching that is all for the good of us in all areas of people activity, right? As far as politically, education-wise, psychologically, in the areas of healthy sex, healthy nutritional value, healthy entertainment, knowledge about spiritual warfare, world events, you know what I'm saying? Things, philosophy, psychology, factology, you know what I'm saying? Theology. So many topics, you know what I'm saying, for us to be open-minded to certain higher levels of consciousness, right? Like the trick word they try to use in this sentence, calling the organization or the nation a cult, a C-U-L-T, cult, which is a deceptive word that's intended to slander the good. See what they did? They cut the front of the word culture. See, they cut, see, in the word culture, they cut the front of the word out to make it sound like a derogatory movement that don't mean nobody some good or something. After all the good that has been transpiring as a result of us bettering our character, free from being criminalized and valuing criminal culture and being glorifying the criminalization of the black male or woman and things of this particular nature. You know what I'm saying? And when we replace that consciousness of being influenced by these negative movies where we root for the movie. Oh, they crime in that movie. Oh, that was a good movie. That movie was good. But in all actually the wrong that was being done was not good. You know why? Because we've been programmed to like filth and indecency in terms of that kind of behavior. You know what I'm saying? Where in the devil's world, he said, I'm gonna make what's wrong look right. And what's right look, I'm gonna make what's wrong look right and what's right look wrong. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people caught up in that devil's net just like that. So when we reject that programming out of our character and spirit, you know what I'm saying? We feel good about ourselves. I'm thankful for the truth of the teachings. You know what I'm saying? Like when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was talking about the Bible is the graveyard of our people. It's the graveyard of our people. Because the religion Christianity was not the religion of Jesus, the Messiah of the Bible. Where did it really come from? Have you done your homework to find out what you worship? A lot of people know not what they worship today because they've been taught by crooks, thieves, and robbers. They don't want to see you with nothing. You know what I'm saying? To the point where we've been injected with the poison to where our people don't be wanting to see each other with nothing in competition with every damn body. And we trying to get organized and shake off the shackles of this shit. You know what I'm saying? And value organization and want to see each other with something. You know what I'm saying? But back to the trick of this word cult though. Calling our groups cults. No, it's our culture. Now don't that sound much pleasant? See how that sound? Culture. Not cult, culture. See how beautiful that sounds? And we have a culture globally tied to the African continent, Central America, South America, the indigenous people of North America, Australia, the Caribbean islands, We're global people, beautiful tropical people, melanite people of the sun. Now watch this. Watch this, right? Okay. The master teacher. See, first of all, in our house, like they say, nobody is above being critiqued or something. You know what I'm saying? Because there's always room for corrections to be made if corrections need to be made, right? Now, anyone familiar with this website are now fully aware that Malachi York was a notorious plagiarist. This is what they saying about him, right? So it should come as no surprise that we have more to show with his antics of plagiarism. See that? Antics, like he always was up to something. You know what I'm saying? He was always plotting to take advantage of his people or to take advantage of us as black people whose minds he was trying to reach with a certain formula of information to wake us up to, right? A certain level of knowledge, right? In 1997, at a class held in 404 Shadydale Road, New York, went on a rant about Minister Louis Farrakhan's Savior's Day speech. York made several points and implications that Minister Farrakhan was plagiarizing from his teachings when Minister Farrakhan used the term shadow hours, and that he was wearing the color green, spoke the name Al-Qaeda, mentioned triple darkness, and what really vexed York was that Minister Farrakhan wore green semi-Gina cap with an upright crescent and 8-pointed star that York insisted was a 6-pointed star on the front and side. Okay, now we know that in the Nubian nation, the upright crescent and 6-pointed star is 6 points. Okay, so it appeared that the cap that he talking about Farrakhan was wearing had an upright crescent with 8 caps. Okay, so if that was a misspeak about that, it ain't like he can't correct himself over a petty, simple little damn thing, such as some stuff like that, or even other stuff that Farrakhan was saying was an indication that he did take some, that he did speak in terms of some lingo that the master teacher taught. So what? What's wrong with that? You know what I'm saying? We all, you know what I'm saying, have picked up certain words of wisdom and lingo from our peers and elders. You know what I'm saying? Not to take nothing away from the greatness of Farrakhan. Man, look, only fools duck when the truth is thrown at them. Man, this petty stuff here, man. See, this is what they do, right? In a few hours, right? In a few hours it'll be dark. And you will say, I ain't in the dark, but that's an illusion. That's not real, because that darkness disappears with the presence of light. What you're walking in is the shadow created by light striking the earth. You call it night, but it's not real darkness, which is facts. It's shadow hour. You know what I'm saying? Which is a good perspective to put it. Okay. From those comments and others in the speech, York accused Farrakhan of taking part of his teachings plagiarizing and not giving credit. Yet, even went as far as to post a picture of Minister Farrakhan from a previous occasion wearing the same green crown with an upright crescent and 8-pointed star. A star, York again says, is a 6-pointed star in his book, The Book of the 5% Nation. Okay, now. For instance, you have a difference of opinion about certain things. And then you come to realize, you know what? Let me correct myself. I was wrong right there. Right? We brothers. Still, I got a mission. Right? That's dealing with a different level of information. Not to take away from what you got, though, right? Let's not be petty here. Settle our differences and be on the same page about certain psychology about the resurrection of our people. See, say for instance, where is our thought scientist? You know what I'm saying? Where's the best, regarding the best minds of our people here in the United States of America? Is they in the Congressional Black Caucus? Is they in the Democratic Party? Is they in the Republican Party? Is they in the grassroots level of our local areas where we live at? Is it in the religious sectors or the religious clergy? Where is the best mindset of our people to where we don't give in to petty arguments? You know what I'm saying? That don't contribute to our advancement as a people. Now watch this. Why would York be so angry with Minister Farrakhan when York has years of documented cases of his plagiarism from other writers, teachers, and religious leaders to help boost controversy in sales? York even took the style, dress, and imitated the famous image of the founder of the Nation of Islam, Master Fard Muhammad. Well, they got right here, W.D. Fard, holding the Quran. Now, the master teacher wrote a book called Sheikh Dawood versus Master Fard Muhammad. And it's going into detail about who is the real person in this picture of the Nation of Islam that's supposed to be Master Fard Muhammad, but others saying that it's an imposter. You know what I'm saying? With a criminal record that can be investigated and researched to see who Master Fard Muhammad really was in terms of what was his real agenda regarding trying to gather up the masses of black people for a particular cause, and under whose vision. So, in the mentality of the master teacher, he got a picture of himself with lingo of the Nation of Islam, with his mission to where he looking inside of a Holy Quran or a book like Master Fard Muhammad in his picture is looking at the Holy Quran in his picture, where by Dr. Malachi York having darker skin than Master Fard Muhammad, right? He like trying to appeal to our people in a way to where come to the complexion of the God in person, being in Dr. Malachi Yorkie's well, the Most High is in a person of Dr. Malachi Yorkie's well, just like he in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. He identified the Most High, right, in the person of him as well, as a God amongst us with a superior teaching, with a higher level of information to take us, at the same time being in support of the level of information that Master Fard Muhammad brought, which we can never take away from the Nation of Islam. Now, as a thought scientist, right, putting two and two together, what's wrong with the master teacher? You know what I'm saying? Imitating the greatness of Master Fard Muhammad in that picture. When in all actuality, when Jesus of the Bible was like, you will do greater things than I. How can somebody, according to the teachings of Christianity, right? Now, you know, a lot of them believe that Jesus is God, right? But the nationality of the Jesus that they talking about, a lot of these people's minds is full of confusion because Jesus is only one person. What was his nationality? What was his skin complexion? They got pictures of him out here that's other than the complexion that he really was in regarding his genetic makeup in the Bible, which was a black person. So for the sake of him being a black person with the right description in the Bible, right? He still said you would do greater works than I. Now, according to the teachings, again, of Christianity, they believe Jesus is God. So if he God, but he telling you, you will be able to do greater works than me, how is you going to be able to do greater works than God? If he is indeed God, but he telling you, you will be able to do greater works than me when I'm gone, when I leave the scene for a particular time. But then when I come back, I'm coming back with a sword to test some shit up, because Christ's name really means one who come to crush the wicked. So when the master teacher doing his good deeds as a follower, say for instance of the real Messiah, right? He come to as an aider of the Creator, right? To help set the record straight beyond the confusion of slave master teachings that's designed to keep us down. But what he brought was designed to pull us up, and people jealous of that. Now watch this. Watch this, right? Now watch this. Now this is what they saying. Now, to help boost controversy in sales. Now they saying he did what he did to make profits and to cause controversy to boost his sales. No. What he brought spoke for itself, to the point where people who thirst for knowledge, you know what I'm saying, was grateful to get information based on his research. You know what I'm saying? That was like no other. You know what I'm saying? Say for instance, not to take nothing away from Farrakhan, but the Nation of Islam don't have classes where they teach fluent Arabic and Arabic Fusha. Dr. Malachi York speak fluent Arabic, where he have this gift called Baina and Furqan, where he able to link and marry all the scriptures together make certain sense in a certain way where it's decoded, like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad decoded the Bible. You know what I'm saying? In terms of the resurrection process of our people, if you're paying attention. But see, a lot of our people so distracted, they only paying attention to certain things. Like for instance, look at the word games these people play. York would take, borrow, steal, and plagiarize from the Nation of Islam's teachings and add to them from the creation of the pig, the dog, the cat, and the rat resulted in the creation of the pig. Triple darkness to the use of the title, Supreme Mathematics. Let's take a look at 3 of those stolen terminologies that York added to his doctrine for profit. See how they do? See how they want to vilify, you know what I'm saying, a thinking scientist, you know what I'm saying, to deny the authenticity, you know what I'm saying, of his pure approach, you know what I'm saying, to bring us knowledge of ourselves that white nation will never do. They can't do it because they don't have the wisdom. You know what I'm saying? This is a job that natural nature appointed to someone who is of our racial stock to do that work for us, to wake us up to. You know what I'm saying? So, these wicked ones and these forces of darkness, you know what I'm saying, that want to sprinkle, you know what I'm saying, falsified information, you know what I'm saying, into the authentic approaches, like when the Holy Quran was like, the devil say, he gonna come in the purified ones or the faithful straight path. You know what I'm saying? To try to disrupt things, man. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? In this forever war of good and evil, we will be the winners. Now watch this, right? Watch this, right? This goes on to read, right? The 5% doctrine was based upon lessons called 120 Degrees of Life, which is basically made up of questions and answers that supposedly provide information on the origin and history of the Nubians, blacks, the pale race, and so-called scientific data. The questions were given for the Nation of Islam by Master Farah Muhammad, but they got right here, Wallace D44, and answered by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. May the peace and blessings of the Most High be upon him. For the imposter did not have the knowledge to correctly answer these questions himself. The 5% lessons. Now, who was the imposter? Hold on, let's go back there. Who was the imposter? Right? Who was the imposter? The question was given for the Nation of Islam by Wallace D44. In other words, Master Farah Muhammad, right? And answered by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, right? For the imposter did not have the knowledge to correctly answer these questions himself. The 5% lessons have variations in some of the questions and answers that causes a different interpretation of the material. The lessons are arranged in the following order: the Supreme Mathematics and Supreme Alphabet, right? This right here got, like it's written by Malcolm X, student enrollment, lost and found Muslims lesson, number 1 through 4, English C lessons, Lost Found Muslims lessons, actual facts and solar facts. Right? Now, for instance, for a lot of us, you know what I'm saying, who study like the supreme mathematics or the actual facts, you know what I'm saying, it's still our knowledge, you know what I'm saying, regarding the message to the black man. This is still for us to get, but yet keep things in its proper perspective. The total area of the land and water of the planet Earth is 1,196,940,000 square miles. The circumference of the planet Earth is 24,896 miles. The diameter of the Earth is 7,926 miles. The area of the land is 57,255 square miles. The area of the water is 139,685 square miles. The Pacific Ocean covers 68,634 square miles. The Atlantic Ocean covers 41,321 square miles. Now, this is pertaining to the book of the 5% Nation that the Master Teacher wrote, right? Now, in addition to the actual facts of the Nation of Islam, the 5% Nation, right? Currently today, the Master Teacher, let me see, has actual facts books, right? For instance, this is how people think. As you can see in the above, actual facts predate the Nuwabian and Ansar literature. Here's an example of current Nuwabian books using the plagiarized series titled Actual Facts. Now watch this. The Master Teacher came out with books. Hold on. Now regarding the actual facts, right? See that actual facts. The name of this particular scroll is Existence, How and Why, by yours truly. Partner Babel Noon, Dr. Malachi York. Now, what's wrong with naming the book's actual facts? Because the books is full of just that. Actual facts, right? That can't be contested. You know what I'm saying? You can try to contest the truth, but the truth is a logic that can't be contested. Now watch this. We're gonna keep going. We all learn from the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad for us in our right minds. But he told y'all, where a lot of us who heard Elijah Muhammad's message conditioned us, there's going to be one who will be leading us with undisputable truth. Now, Farrakhan is doing a good job in terms of being a soldier, you know what I'm saying, for his post, as far as him doing what he was called to do. You know what I'm saying? Remember when the Master Teacher was like, oh, we came in a pair this time. Farrakhan is the speaker, but I am the writer. works. Yeah, he the writer. And Elijah spoke about him, and that's him. Whether you accept it or not, no. You can accept that or you can leave it alone. But we know a lot of y'all don't want to give credit where credit is due anyway, because y'all so damn egotistical. Yeah, we see y'all. But see, we got the message. Not to take nothing away from the Nation of Islam, but we got the message. But this is a teaching strategy of him. He did that to get y'all attention, to take us to a high level of consciousness. He brought us the holy tablets, the Rati, the book of unshakable facts, the black book, the gold book, rewrote the Torah, the Evangel Revelations. Now Farrakhan did that. He brought us the Wapik, our own language, back. You know what I'm saying? Brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying? They have Shabazz or X's on their name. Gotta be real. The unknown, right? But our culture has been restored to us. Nuwapia. You know what I'm saying? And then some. So, I'm not mad or trying to be harsh that certain individuals haven't caught up to this metamorphism, so to speak. But for a lot of us who identify with the transformation, we done made we done made the change. You know what I'm saying? You know, through the opening of the seventh seal. But they think they doing something by calling themselves trying to belittle who he is, which is a foolish mistake. This goes on to read though, right? Watch this. The Supreme Mathematics, right?
This is Buick. Now.
Hold on. Check this out, right? Watch this. The Supreme Mathematics. This was a short series of books York's released and was advertised as dealing with higher level information. However, if one were to read them, they are nothing more than the typical religious rhetoric, which is bullshit, right? They lying. Talking about rhetoric, typical religious rhetoric, baseless claims. See, they all want to take credit away from where credit is due, right? And distortions of history. Now, we know the true distorter of history, you know what I'm saying, is the white historians. You know what I'm saying? See, he came to give us the mystery of me and your story, my story, the mystery. You know what I'm saying? Because they gave us history, H-I-S, his story. And he came to give us mystery, my story, M-Y story, me and your story. This title of their booklet series was also plagiarized from the Supreme Mathematics from the Nation of Islam's teaching. Now, the terminology Supreme Mathematics, right? Supreme Mathematics, right? Hold on. Supreme Mathematics, right? It just may be a term of the Nation of Islam that we learn about. But due to the master teacher being who he is, with the divine mission that natural nature appointed him to do. He had a teaching strategy to put that on his books. So for people to read, to go to a whole nother level. See, he was real clever by doing that, because the information he brought is a ever-changing information that's full of life and transformation. Anything that is not changing is dead. You know what I'm saying? So what he brought us was a solution to us being stuck. You know what I'm saying? In certain teachings that was not evolving. Not to say that what Elijah Muhammad brought didn't cause us to evolve. We went to a certain level with that information, which is still powerful. Like Elijah said, look for this person to bring us this other level of information. That's him. So when he was using terminologies like supreme mathematics, okay, boom, this supreme mathematics book does. You know what I'm saying? This, that, and the third, X, Y, Z. Right? And a lot of us who students of the nation, we see that, okay, supreme mathematics. But when we open the book, the teachings is elaborating on certain things that's not in the message to the black man. It's not in the theology of time. It's not in our Savior has arrived. And it's not in certain supreme wisdom lessons. But yet, the theology of time is powerful. The message to the black man is powerful. Our Savior has arrived is powerful. The fall of America is powerful. The study guides are powerful, right? But to add on, you know what I'm saying, to where we elevate our mentalities, you know what I'm saying, to a higher degree, like the supreme mathematics, right? Let's get to it. Okay. This still knowledge itself, you know what I'm saying? Say for instance, we Nubians, right? And we learn the supreme mathematics. As long as it's right and exact, it's still knowledge itself. And we know more than that. Now for instance, right? Let's do the knowledge. Once again, for instance, right? Let's do the knowledge. Okay. What's knowledge regarding the supreme mathematics? Knowledge is the accumulation of facts through observing, learning, and respecting. Knowledge is the foundation of all things in existence, for it must be known in order to make it manifest. Knowledge is the light given off by the sun, which is the foundation of our solar system. Also, the original man, whom is the foundation of God's family, or Allah's family, or Papa Ut's family, or Patim Ta's family. Knowledge equal the sun, or the original man, dealing with the black man and woman being the mothers and fathers of civilization, so to speak, right? Can't nobody get around that. Okay. Wisdom is wise words being spoken, right? Now, the wise words being spoken through the teachings of right knowledge is wise words being spoken, right? Wise words being spoken, or to speak knowledge. Wise dome, meaning wise mind, and act according to it. wisdom is water, or the vital building block of life. Wisdom is the original woman because through her cipher womb, life is continuing. And the message to the black man, it reads that the black woman is through whom we produce our nation, which is actual facts. It is also a reflection of one's knowledge, and is shown and proven by the moon being a reflection of the sun's light knowledge. Knowledge, the reflection of knowledge, equals wisdom. 1 + 1 = 2. Wisdom equals moon equals original woman. Understanding is that which shows and proves the completion of knowledge and wisdom, man, woman, and child. Understanding is a clear mental comprehension. It is the original child, which is the star. The highest form of understanding is love, and the bond between man and woman, or knowledge and wisdom. Understanding equals star equal original child. Now, that's a well-known pearl of wisdom right there regarding the highest bond between the black man and black woman. Getting ourselves together is the bond of love between us, beyond all of the rebellious wildness that we see going on, you know what I'm saying, between, you know, our people out here. Now, for instance, culture freedom, right? Culture freedom. Culture is one's way of living, meaning one's language, wisdom, and customs, ways, and actions. Freedom is to have a freedom, or to lack restraints. The original man's culture is Islam. Freedom, justice, and equality, which is peace, which brings peace, right? Now, for instance, the original man's nature is peace. You know what I'm saying? It's peace. But outside of that, a lot of people's inner spirits is so disrupted and full of disease, man. It's like a social war zone out here, and a psychological war zone out here, where all kind of conflicts is it's going on. You know what I'm saying? People don't got a grip on their mind. You know what I'm saying? They don't have inner peace. You know what I'm saying? They disrupted, irritated, irritable. You know what I'm saying? Full of all kind of desires. You know what I'm saying? That make them feel out of order. You know what I'm saying? That's why spiritual cleansing is important. Okay, power refinement. Wait a minute. Yeah, power refinement. Power is force or creative energy. To refine is to perfect. Power is the truth, which is Allah's mathematics. To knowledge the culture of Islam is to have power. Now, what is it about Islam that has a certain inkling toward telling the truth in terms of how things is, as opposed to Christianity, which cover things up where you don't question God or you don't question the obvious contradiction? At least Islam was taught to us to see things with a challenging, trained eye toward certain falsehood, where truth is to knock out its brains of falsehood. You know what I'm saying? Where it, like for instance, in the theology of time, when it said we live in a universe of truth, where falsehood is getting pushed out of it. That go for us who are truthers. You know what I'm saying? See, they don't want us to have the truth. You know why? Because the truth makes us powerful. The logic of truth can't be contested. You can't mess with it. It's unstoppable. And you can't change it out of being other than it being the truth. You know what I'm saying? But certain forces like to hide it. And that's what they do. And they distort it. You know what I'm saying? This goes on to go into detail about the supreme mathematics, right? Equality. Watch this. Equality is the state or equality of being equal, meaning to deal equally with all in existence. Now we know in this white supremacy system, right? They not dealing in no equality. So who is the people with the character and temperament to help bring equality and ease to the people on the planet? You know what I'm saying? To really equally benefit from the resources of our earth. Think about it. Us with that particular kind of nature need to be in leadership. You know what I'm saying? Because these other people who is full of greed and greediness, you know, with the evidence to show they greediness by the things they've been doing, you know what I'm saying, since they've been in power, especially going into the teachings for the last 6,000 years, these people dealing with that moon cycle. You know what I'm saying? It's time for a change. You know what I'm saying? So, for instance, right? Equality is a state or quality of being equal, meaning to deal equally with all in existence. Equality is achieved by teaching others knowledge and wisdom, making it understood through understanding. Where earlier we read that understanding is a clear mental comprehension. You know what I'm saying? So, regarding God, Allah is God, right? This is what the supreme mathematics is saying. Now, the supreme being, black man, who is the original man, is God. Allah, Lord of all the worlds, supreme ruler of the universe, which is everything. Sun, moon, and stars. God is the sun in the solar system. Woman is the moon. Child is stars. Now, build and destroy. To build is to elevate the mentality of the self and others around self. Now, when a master teacher put forth all of this reading material, right, that's exactly what took place. A mentality where we elevated in the mind. You know what I'm saying? And like they say, to build is to elevate the mentality of self and others around self. To add on positive energy to God's nation. To destroy is to ruin allowing negativity to outweigh the positive. I'm gonna read that again. To build is to elevate the mentality of self and others around self. Now, what company is y'all keeping out here where y'all building the mentality in y'all self and those around y'all, where y'all elevating the mentality of y'all selves, as far as y'all elevating the mentality of y'all minds and y'all elevating the mentality of those around y'all? Are y'all elevating in the mind instead of being destructive toward one another, fighting and bickering and materialistically insane for these little trinkets? You know what I'm saying? They got y'all thinking so little of yourselves and thinking so small, thinking you doing something. You know what I'm saying? Chasing after the spell of the dollar bill. On top of that, you know what I'm saying? Rendering what they call y'all being into a mentality of a hot mess. You know what I'm saying? Making a spectacle of yourselves, which is embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? Forget the embarrassment, making a spectacle of yourselves. You know, shock the world. You know what I'm saying? Where y'all make a public display of yourselves being gods. Now let's continue to read, right? Alright. Made the positivity outweigh the negativity out here. Alright, born is the completion of all in existence. To manifest from knowledge to born, which is the law of mathematics, to be complete in itself. You know what I'm saying? We want to be completely raised up in the truth while our minds is elevated with our true spiritual science and real teachers. Right? This goes on to read, right? Cipher. The Supreme Wisdom Lessons by Master Fard Muhammad and his servant, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, for the lost foundation of Islam in North America. The Supreme Wisdom Lessons originated by our Savior, Master Fard Muhammad, Allah in person to him. Now, the Most High God lives in us all. By whatever name you want to call him. You know what I'm saying? Now, say for instance, okay, I don't want to go there yet. I'm going to stay here. The Most High is in person in us. Remember, the Messiah was like, you will do greater works than I. We in an era of time where we can work on ourselves to the point where we can be spiritually better. Now, this goes on to read, right? Supreme Mathematics. This is one way that the 5%ers communicate with each other. You know what I'm saying? Or how we communicate with each other. It is a language code made up of what's called the Supreme Mathematics. If I want to give the greeting to the 5% using Supreme Mathematics, I would say, like, say for instance, you know what I'm saying? Today is the 23rd. You know what I'm saying? Today's mathematics will be wisdom, understanding. And we will elaborate on wisdom and understanding, freeing the dome, being free in the mind. You know what I'm saying? With a clear mental comprehension of the wisdom that we speaking about regarding whatever subject matter that makes sense structured around wisdom and understanding. You know what I'm saying? In the nation of gods and earth, you know what I'm saying, have the supreme alphabets. You know what I'm saying? Okay, the supreme alphabets. As mentioned earlier, the nation of gods and earth have their own alphabet and a numerical system called supreme mathematics. In the 5% nation, when a god, male or earth, female, a black woman is a god too, a goddess, is asked to spell his or her divine name or attribute. It is done, you know what I'm saying, through the supreme alphabets. Like for instance, right? Okay, with all that said, the master teacher wrote numerous books, right? And on the books, right? Okay, he got like this one, the study book regarding the wise men, the study book, Supreme Mathematics for the Holy Tabernacle Ministries, right? Or the Man from Planet Risk scroll, or the Melanite Children scroll, or the scroll, hold on, Are There Black Devils scroll, right? Which is a study book, a Supreme Mathematics book. Supreme Mathematics class, right? Now, it's amazing how individuals want to, like, you know how they say, the devil is in the details. You know what I'm saying? Who try to twist information, or contort the information, or tamper with the information to throw a person off where they won't be in the light of a particular thing, right? Now, for instance, 76 trillion years, this is what they saying, right? York has convinced his followers that he is the incarnation of a biblical character, Melchizedek, Michael, and a space creature or being he calls Yanun, and that his characters hold 76 trillion years of knowledge. Now, this is what they say. Because we sure gonna have people that talk about us, you know what I'm saying, when we striving for greatness or trying to be something great, or actually turn out to be an individual that is great, right? This is what they do. They try to nitpick at your character. Now, based on his works, and based on him saying who he say he is, and based on the fruits of his work, it's confirmation enough for me. I ain't got no problem with accepting him for who he is. See how easy that is for me? I don't have that mental fog, you know what I'm saying, to not get who he is for me. You know what I'm saying? For y'all, you know what I'm saying, that want to try to vilify the God, you know what I'm saying? That's y'all problem, not mine. I don't have that problem. Because I can see the supreme wisdom, actual facts, and supreme mathematics in what he talking about on this level of information. embracing what the messenger brought, who spoke about him coming later on down the wheel of time to appeal to the higher consciousness of us as a people. See, a lot of us caught that. We ain't stuck on the small-minded bickering or trying to find fault in the transformation of us going to another level beyond the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and beyond, all the way up to 2030. Because within the span of time from 2000 to 2030, you know what I'm saying? Like when the master teacher told us, the hourglass is almost empty. You know what I'm saying? Short walk on the long path on the short walk, that term he used. You know what I'm saying? In terms of, watch this. The man from Planet Risk. Do y'all have the mental capacity to overstand? See, the supreme mathematics talk about knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, right? Okay, which is a clear mental picture or something. But he brought us an overstanding beyond the understanding. When we overstand things, now when we step into new realms of thought, without throwing away the good intentions of Noble Drew Ali, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Farrakhan, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, Deuce Ali, Sheikh Dawood Ahmad Faiz, you know, black political parties, black grassroots levels, organizations that mean well for the betterment of the black nation as a whole, with international connections, right? Now watch this. We the oldest race on the planet, tied to ancient Egypt, Sumeria, Tartarians, and things of this particular nature, right? So, just for the sake of conversation, let's go here. Now, this out of one of the master teacher's books, right? Man from Planet Risk, right? They went to a particular page. I guess they think, you know, they trying to, their arms too short to box with God for real. Now watch this, right? Now watch this terminology. These terminologies is not in the Moore Science Temple. These terminologies is not in the Nation of Islam. But they is within the doctrine of Nuwabu, right? Our true spiritual science, right? Now, another interesting aspect of this anomaly is that, now for instance, the word anomaly is like an occurrence that don't really occur all the time. And what's meant by that, by the master teacher being who he is an anomaly. By him being the writer and Farrakhan being the speaker, by him being the writer, it's an anomaly. Ain't nobody out here writing like him on this planet Earth. I ain't seen his work stand out in certain white power structure forces or sources know who he is, but they hide his information, copy his information, put it in movies, put it in internet, what you call around and blog talks or what have you, conversations, and plagiarizing theyself like they didn't get it from him. Talking about plagiarism, you know what I'm saying? They plagiarizing from him. For real, for real. Now this goes on to read, right? They plagiarize from him and don't get credit where credit is due. But us who've been exposed to his, how should I put it? For us who've been exposed to our lessons, right? We can tell how certain information out here that's in the public and these media outlets came from his teachings. You know what I'm saying? But it's certain forces that want to keep the planet on a certain low vibratory frequency. He came to raise the vibration of the planet. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of us who want to raise high vibrations, right, find ourselves to ourselves because we're watching who we hanging around. And a lot of these people out here, you know what I'm saying, it's like they ain't they you know what I'm saying? I'm not judging, but I gotta make a judgment to identify what I'm seeing. It's like a lot of these people ain't no good out here. So we gotta separate ourselves from the unclean things of the world. We got to. You know what I'm saying? To tap all the way in. Look, another interesting aspect of this anomaly is that your DNA, right? Your DNA codes were set to go off right now before your soul left. As you may have noticed, that did not occur at your birth or at any other time until now that you read what I teach of the awakening. That's right now. Even though you have lived through many nows, and the degree of your awakening is in direct relation to the degree of now that you are experiencing, because I am here with you now. And that determines the awakening. When they built the land, Tamaray of the West on the land, the vibration of that area was better than all this stuff in America. You can't compete the vibration. And a lot of us who was in tune with the teaching connected with that vibration. You know what I'm saying? We in a good frequency. You know what I'm saying? We not, you know what I'm saying, of the frequency of the lowlanders. You know what I'm saying? For instance, right now, regarding the awakening, is in direct relation to the degree of now that you are experiencing, because I am here with you now. And that determines the awakening. Like when the Messiah of the Bible, you know how people was like, I just would like to touch the hem of his garments. A lot of people like to touch the hem of our garments because of a certain healing frequency that we own, and the illuminated mentality that we have amongst the darkness of a lot of these spiritually sick individuals out here. You know what I'm saying? Resulting from the 60 the ghost spell, the gospel of lies. You know what I'm saying? So we free in our domes from the gospel of lies with the divine message of truth. Now watch this, right? Before I became aware of my mission, before my DNA opened me up, I was unaware of who I was, and now I was to go about fulfilling my mission, which which is why he teaches the way he teach. When y'all think he plagiarizing from the nation and 5% in other people's teachings, he got a certain style of how he teaches to bring you over into what he came to really give us, to get your attention. I was in a state of unconsciousness. My chest has been expanded so that I can take on the burdens of the world, filled with the spirit of Murdoch, who is called the Angel Michael. And who is the Angel Michael? The Angel Michael is a warrior angel, like Christ, who come to crush the wicked. That's why the mental attacks, you know what I'm saying, and the persecution of this particular frequency of thought that's entering the planet, especially here in the United States of America, right? Where this vibration is different from the six ether forces. This is dealing with a higher, more nobler civilization coming in with the ushering in of the sun cycle that we are in now, right? The time is now. This is truly an alignment time. We gotta get right out here by knowing what time it is. It's what time it is. Like he was saying, my chest has been expanded so that I can take on the burdens of the world, filled with the spirit of Murdoch, who is called the Angel Michael in religion. And we've been exposed to religions in the United States of America, right? Yet, a lot of these religions turn out to be spells on the mind, to manipulate the minds of the people to be under just that, spells of them religions. When you don't think outside the box of them religions, right? So he broke the spells off our minds through the teachings, so we can be free from the entrapment of the boxes and the mind control institutions to limit our growth, where the bullies and parasites and vampires of knowledge, you know what I'm saying, can't feed off us no more. Like he said, right? My chest has been expanded so that I can take on the burdens of the world, filled with the spirit of Murdoch, who is called the Angel Michael in religion, who speaks through me. Now, say for instance, Allah in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. Was Allah speaking through Master Fard Muhammad when he gave Elijah Muhammad his mission? That Elijah Muhammad identified with and accept for himself to be the messenger of Allah. You know what I'm saying? Being rightly guided for a mission, like a Messiah type. A Messiah is one who come to clean up a nation of people who have lost their way, or who are in chaos, who have lost the peaceful way. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall inherit the kingdom of the Most High. Watch this, right? You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. John 8:32. These truths have and will release you from the fears of the devil and renew your faith in the Elohim, and erase the lies and release the oppression that has enslaved your once highly intellectual mind. My children has been molded. My character has been molded to perfection. And I possess the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding needed to raise us. Not in particular, in religion, they spoke about the 144,000, the chosen ones. Are you a chosen one that's listening to this video here? You may be one, but yet, outside of religious thought, will there be more than 144,000? Question. What do I mean by renewing your faith in the Elohim? I'm finna go deeper, right? In the Christian world, right? They never taught us these terminologies. In all these other schools of thought, these terminologies only came through the school of thought of our true spiritual science here, which is why we are going to another level of information. Now watch this. A lot of these, you know what I'm saying? Like I say, Farrakhan is a good speaker. He don't take nothing away from all the beautiful work he done put in, right? Yet, why he don't acknowledge, you know what I'm saying, the other part of him, Dr. Malachi York, as far as him being the writer, where Farrakhan could have been educating the masses about the deeper aspects of these teachings. I mean, only he can answer why he haven't done so. But yet adopt L. Ron Hubbard Scientology. I mean, I think I have a right to disagree with certain things, you know, because I do have free will and a mind of my own. And the Most High gave us a brain to use. So I'm using it. That's why I have questions myself. Like, as far as people having our best interests at heart and get the benefit of the doubt to what Dr. Malachi York brought us, I think it's good for our people to learn as much as possible that we can learn about ourselves. Now, this going to a higher consciousness, right? With a certain psychology to it that sound right, to where the master teacher was like, this is right knowledge that gives you sound right reasoning. And this sound right. It sound right. Listen to that. What do I mean by renewing your faith in the Elohim? The Elohim are those beings who are responsible for your existence. These Anunnaki, those who came down in 50s from Anu. Now these different terms, like I knew these names, and Anunnaki, who was the Anunnaki, you know what I'm saying? These Anunnaki, those who came down in 50s from Anu, from the mother plane, Nibiru, took a concern in you. Who is them? Because they are your parents. Who kept this secret from us about these extraterrestrial beings really being our parents? They are the we and the us of your scriptures, the Bible, the Holy Quran, and your existence. And they decided to save a select few of you. These are the true gods, not the spook deities that so-called religious scholars, imam sheikhs, will have you to believe in. Now wait a minute. Now the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you know what I'm saying? He came to reveal to us the reality about who the mystery God was, who was not a spook, where our people was not left in spookism. Now, the master teacher brought us spiritual science about the realities of the spirit world, which is still not spookism, right? Now, when he spoke about these are the true gods, not the spook deities that so-called religious scholars, imams and sheikhs will have you believe in. The Elohim are to whom the praise and gratitude should by right be given to willingly and sincerely, as far as us knowing better, right? So who we've been praying to and what gods we've been worshiping all our life and all these years. Come to find out, when you question these preachers and imams or sheikhs and rabbis about certain realities about the scriptures, they don't even know what they follow. You know what I'm saying? Not to be mean, but scholarship is what people is not paying attention to. You know what I'm saying? People just accepting stuff without investigating. No wonder why they say don't ask questions. You know why? Because so they can maintain the status quo of their agenda without it being disrupted by your questions. So they can get away with their tricks. Wow. So they can get away with their tricks. That's why an educated mind, a person who have an educated mind, is not fit to be a slave. So therefore, we have a right to defend our mind and our heart and our souls from being conned by these con artists in the name of a good name. But behind that good name, they full of dirty practices that don't mean us no good. You know what I'm saying? Against such, it's advised to us that we turn away. We turn far away from. Now, watch this, right? With that said, right, this goes on to read. I have 76 trillion years of light knowledge. How else would I have been able to write about the science of creation? Scroll 81, or is there life after death? Scroll 124. Since my transformation from an ordinary man at the age of 25, then again at the age of 40 into a supreme being, I have released the unbridled spiritual powers that are characteristic to your God-like nature. Thus, as you see, the books have taken on a definite path, the middle path. I know who and what I am. At the age of 40, I saw the full light. Now I know the power given to me by the soul, Al-Ruh, Melchizedek, Michael, Mikael, has allowed me to bring you out of the darkness into the light of undisputable truth. Melchizedek is 76 trillion years old. He has been in me since 1970 AD and now has taken over. I am imperfection. Now, I consist of myself, which is referred to as Dr. Malachi Z. York. I also have living within me or visiting me a multitude of personalities which come at different times. I don't know what you will call that. It's very difficult to explain to people who have not encountered the same experiences, but I myself know that that's what's important. Now, based on the works that he do, it is what it is, and these personalities that he's talking about is working through him to put forth knowledge and certain spiritual forces working through him in ways you may not even comprehend. But the work that he doing speaks for itself, where what he's saying is a logic that can't be contested because it's the truth. Accept it or leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? I comprehend it clearly. Do you have proof of this? Check this out, right? I am Melchizedek of all the holy prophets. Allah has sent me, or God has sent me to give good tidings, to prepare the way for the real Messiah. Now, think about this. Now, he made it public. He wrote books on it. I don't claim to be. He not saying that he Jesus or none of that. He is a master teacher to put things in a proper perspective. Hold on. Back to what I was saying, right? He said, I'm the master, he the master teacher, right? That come to put things in a certain perspective, right? So, by him declaring that he's not the Messiah, but the world is expecting the return of the one who come to crush the wicked. Something is going on. Something ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Somebody is not. Somebody is doing all kind of hiding of the truth. You know what I'm saying? That we trying to get access to really be made known. You know what I'm saying? To get connected to the real Messiah. Who is the real Messiah that he is preparing the way for? Think about that. Okay. The book, the holy tablets that the master teacher wrote, right? In another spiritual name, Ayanun am an Anunnaki, and what you would call an extraterrestrial. Look at this extra meaning in addition to Terra of the earth, astral, of or from the stars. I am what you call an angelic being, an Elohim from the 18th planet called Risk. A lot of people ain't see this coming. you logically think about this, right? By him claiming to be who he is, right? You know how people be like, oh man, that nigga crazy. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that nigga out of his mind. That nigga crazy. Just like when TVs didn't exist, you had people, you know what I'm saying, speaking about, you know what, one day it's gonna be a little box where we can see people in that little box doing some of everything, like we see people doing, you know what I'm saying, out here in real life before our 2020 vision. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Oh man, that nigga crazy, man. But we gonna see who the crazy ones. Cause it showed a lot of people out of their right mind out here, and guess what? They is crazy. Out of their mind, possessed by all kind of demons, possessed by all kind of spirits. But the ones they calling crazy, based on this higher level of conscious information for us to be liberated mentally through, right? We not crazy. Our minds is in proper order, good condition, healthy, with open third eyes, when we see through the technology of the devil with x-ray vision. You know what I'm saying? I belong to the Most High, separated from the unclean things of the planet and of the earth. You know what I'm saying? To feed on a positively developed Kundalini. Now check this out, right? Man from Planet Risk, page 23. I incarnate in the form of Al-Qut, like the axis to bring balance, right? The Holy Tablets, chapter 19, tablet 6-3. I incarnate in the form of Yanun. Be telling you these things, right? But people, you know what I'm saying, too immature to handle, you know what I'm saying, certain information. That's why you can't cast your jewels among swine. Even the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when the Theology of Time came out, he was like, oh, put that up. They ain't ready for this yet. You know what I'm saying? Stuff that's dealing with getting us together. You know what I'm saying? For us to straighten out the madness that's inside of us. You know what I'm saying? Following after people being other than our true self. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing who he is and all that. But through our true spiritual science, we know who he is. Okay, y'all know Melchizedek, Malachi, Word and our Yorks. Money-making schemes. Ooh-wee. Right there. You see that? You see that? See how they try to reduce the word rhetoric to money-making schemes. Wow, really? Us as black people, can we have anything successful without these forces trying to tear it down? Y'all see it. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? Look at our relationships, you know what I'm saying, regarding our sojourn here in the United States of America, dealing with the history of our organizations, you know, combating these oppressive, racist institutions and forces, you know what I'm saying, just trying to live a normal life, you know what I'm saying, just trying to go into ourselves and live a normal life without conflicts with people. But it seems like troublemakers always gotta pop their heads out with some kind of envy and jealousy of us. You know what I'm saying? why people internalize self-hatred amongst themselves where they become doubly crazy. You know what I'm saying? Where they destroying their own selves. It's crazy, man. That's why you can't get caught up in the muck and the mire. You know what I'm saying? Because the devil walked to and fro, seeking whom he may devour. That's what they say, a roaring lion, but he walked to and fro, seeking whom he may devour. That's why when you have a second self-defense, when you loaded with certain solution-orientated knowledge, right? You can't be stopped. You can't be broken. You can't be penetrated. You can't be altered. You know what I'm saying? You can only stay real and authentic in a proper mind as an example for others. You know what I'm saying? When you can truly help others be in their right minds and be sucker free without being victimized or molested by these freaks of negativity. You know what I'm saying? That's depraved in the mind with no moral fiber. You know what I'm saying? The psychological raping of these beasts that feed off of the decay of the flesh. The decaying, you know what I'm saying? The decaying individuals that's decaying right before us out here in the society, looking like zombies, just decaying, wasting away. Dark auras, dirty looking energies that's on them. You know what I'm saying? This is a real spiritual war out here. You know what I'm saying? Okay, now check it out, right? Y'all know Melchizedek, Malachi, word. Oh, okay, this how they trying to make it seem. Okay, Malachi, word. There are York's money-making schemes. So, as far as the clean approaches that he was taking, writing books, right, to offset the negativity in our minds from false teachings with positivity of the truth he was bringing. You know what I'm saying? Was a money-making scheme? No, that was a legitimate business. See how they twist words? That was a legitimate business to sell books. Say like you go to Barnes and Nobles, right? Is the books that they selling out there schemes? Or is it a legitimate business? A money-making scheme? Obviously, that's the work of an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? Who came up with a way to make money writing interesting books that can actually help people. But what you mean, money-making scheme? Like as if writing books to help people is something bad. See how the devil works? Can't be trusted. You know what I'm saying? Like Public Enemy say, watch your step, I can't trust it. Read. Let me see. Okay, now let's read this in its entirety. Y'all know Melchizedek, Malachi were, and are York's money-making schemes. Well, they show them how to lie, and it's still working on the minds of his followers to this day. The same old, wait a minute, they say, and it's still working on the minds of his followers to this day. So, the truth that is working on my mind is for me to stand on my own 2 feet with. I don't follow nobody. The master teacher taught us to be leaders. Little do they know. You know what I'm saying? See how they be lacking in real authentic knowledge? Thinking they doing something by trying to tear down the good works positive black people be doing. You know what I'm saying? To this very day. A lot of us standing on our own 2 feet out here, being positive lights in the society. You know what I'm saying? And you can't take that away from us. We standing on the righteous path. Now watch this. The same old empty religious figure, just a different shade and style of dress. Now look what these people do. They put the master teacher picture on the side of a white Jesus, right? And they say the same old empty religious figure. Yo, they say the same old empty religious figure. Now, we told y'all the master teacher is a master teacher. But they want to say he is a soulless, empty person who was a religious teacher who emulated the Christ of Christianity, right? The blind-haired, blue-eyed image of the Christ, which is the real spiritually empty entity that's soulless, that don't fit the description of the real Messiah. See how twisted that is? That's the same old empty religious figure that they deceived the whole world with. And the Bible warned us about how Satan would deceive the whole world. But if you don't do your own due diligence, you can get swept up. You know what I'm saying? With a misinformed conscious mind, a misinformed unconscious mind, trying to, that's groping in the dark, thinking that you holding on to the light, but that light that you holding on to blinded you. Because it came from the author of lies and not the author of truth. The same old empty religious figure, just a different shade or skin tone and style of dress. That's actually comical right there, but I didn't fall for it because I know better. But they go on to try to justify their futile attempt, you know what I'm saying, to try to dirty up the teachers that's here to elevate our minds, black people's minds. The exact number, right? York uses 76 trillion years is a sum he never offered evidence to support, but the larger point is that he took this also from the teachings of the Nation of Islam by way of the leader, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We all learned that information about regarding the self-creation of Allah or the self-creation of God from our perspective in terms of the first law about how the atom manifested in creation through the first law of motion. Through the law of motion. Now, for instance, right? Okay, let's see. Okay, regarding the earth is over 76 trillion years old. Elijah Muhammad, right? Atlanta speaks, quoted in Lewis Lomax, when the word is given. Okay, for instance, others in the past have used 76 trillion year figure for various reasons, including L. Ron Hubbard of Scientology, right? A cold-blooded and factual account of your last 76 trillion years, so begin a history of man, Scientology. Right? This figure, however, goes back to at least the 1930s when Elijah Muhammad, as a student of Master Fard Muhammad, when they got W.F. Muhammad, in 1931, he encountered Fard Muhammad, who preached that the original man, a black man, evolved 76 trillion years ago. The Oxford Encyclopedia of American Culture and Intellectual History. Right? Elijah Muhammad elaborates on this figure from the Theology of Time lecture in 1972. July 16th. Okay. Time. Right? When did it start? It started way back, a long way back. It started when the first motion of an atom moved out of darkness. When that atom moves, motion creates time. Right here they got it still time. That was in accordance to the teachings of Allah to me, was something around 76 trillion years ago. It was 76 trillion years ago when those things took place. What things? The motion of time. In terms of us as a nation of people, right? We have no birth record, right? Okay. He said that there was no birth record of the black man and woman, and therefore none can say how old the black nation is. As far back as he said a record has been kept, it dates 76 trillion years. These years, 76 trillion, were divided into periods of 6 trillion years beyond 66 trillion years, which would make the said figure 76 to 78 instead of 76 trillion. I will not go into the finer details here. I hope to go into the details and analysis of our Lord's Master Fard Muhammad's teaching to me in a book entitled Black and White. Now, I got a question. Where's that book at? Black and white. I've never seen that book before. But anyway, Our Savior Has Arrived, page 96. York was fully aware of what constituted plagiarism. Here are excerpts taken from his publications. Example, the Constitution of the United States was plagiarized from the Iroquois Kayanisa by Thomas Paine. Now wait a minute. Now in the area of moral science, right? There's a lot of important knowledge, you know what I'm saying, that's to be discussed. Now hold on, let's set the record straight, book. Yes, the Quran was copied from the New Testament, the Torah, and they were plagiarized from the Enuma Elish and other ancient books like the Gilgamesh epics, Ishtar, and Tammuz. The Religion of Islam Unmasked book, right? Let me explain. The first part of the Bible, which is the Torah, was put together and reconstructed with plagiarized texts, with part of the Enuma Elish and the Gilgamesh epics by Tammuz, the Elohim assigned to you, along with 46 other Anunnaki. Tammuz did not create the Torah, he made it easier. Now see how you're going into different levels of information gradually to take us out of the cycle of the religious trap. See how he feeding us bits of information that's going into other cultures, that Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, the monotheistic religions, right, got their stories from just different names and characters in different languages, from different cultures that predate the Bible. You know what I'm saying? With that said, I'm gonna chill right. I'm gonna stop right there, right? You know what I'm saying? And resume this video with more analyzation of how to see through the word games people play to try to steal your light. You know what I'm saying? In terms of us letting our light shine, let nobody get the best of you, baby. Stay on the path. You know what I'm saying? So we can continue to reap the benefits, you know what I'm saying, of being intellectually inclined as a mentalist, using our minds, being in tune with our true spiritual science. Peace and love.